Welcome to Module 3 of the Risk Management Online Training from Value Transformation. In this module, we are going to discuss risk identification. In the earlier modules, we gave you a glimpse of the ways to uncover risk associated with the project in terms of scope and strategy and tactic selection. At this point, we have selected a scope and a strategy that improves our chances of success. Now it is time to identify the risks associated with the project. That is the project execution. This graphic describes the risk management process. This time, we are focusing on identifying project risks. This is the first step. The preceding work was to understand the entire environment and to select the most probable successful approach, be that scope, strategy, or tactic. All of these are important to risk reduction. Now we turn our focus into the project and the execution to deliver. In identification, we want to uncover as many things that can go wrong as we can find. So how do we set about generating a list of things that can go wrong in a project? How do you do it? How does your organization do it? The approach varies by the number and type of companies there are in the world. Our organization may have formalized approach to risk identification, or the approach may be project manager dependent. It can be a process-intensive approach, or it can be ad hoc. We have some prerequisites for the risk identification. We will need to know about the project to understand what can go wrong. The project objectives, that is, our intentions for taking on this project, must be known in order to uncover what can be in the way of the objective, otherwise known as risk. We can start our risk exploration with interviews. We will find key personnel and ask them questions about the project. Sponsors, those are the people paying for the project. They have expectations that will help guide us in determining the boundaries for the project. Their expectations define some of the areas for risk exploration. Project members have a variety of experiences and perspectives from which to draw to evoke and identify project risks, especially those from specific function areas of the organization. For example, product testing people may have good input on what goes wrong when it comes to the testing of the product. Stakeholders, those associated with the project, can also provide valuable input. Legal implications. There are limits to what we can do, and the things we do must abide within the boundaries of the legal system. These legal constraints, such as mandated product feature, also require vetting for risks. For very expert opinion, for very specific areas that require more than broad experience but in-depth knowledge, we can ask these people. Historical data is nice to have when it comes to understanding risk. This data demonstrates how things have worked in the past and perhaps how things may work in the immediate future. With historical data, we can alter our project plans from those approaches in the past that have not yielded the desired results. There are complications, however, with historical data around how the data was collected, and was the collected data from a recurring or well-established process or the result of ad hoc. Even if you have this information, the team is new and the project by definition not operations, so the exact replication may not be possible. There will be more on this in later modules. We uncover risk when we review our documentation or our intention with the project and our intended way of working. Analyzing any company or department checklist can also help uncover risks. We do not want unvoiced assumptions. Unvoiced assumptions are not vettable. Assumptions are not always valid. Vocalizing assumptions makes it possible to substantiate or refute the assumption. We really do not want to be surprised by something we thought worked one way, but in fact does not. In my opinion, one of the reasons Agile is successful is because of the close-knit team reducing dependencies to other organizations and communication channels to the least viable, and the frequent communication. This constant monitoring of progress and broadcasting obstacles to the team and Scrum Master make continuously clearing obstacles possible, thereby reducing risk. The Ishikawa diagram, also called the fishbone diagram for the appearance, is typically used for brainstorming underlying causes for a failure. As such, it is done after the failure occurs. It is also possible to use this tool and technique for understanding how the project can fail and uncovering risk. At the head of the fishbone diagram would be the symptom or failure. In our case, this is not brainstorming about an actual failure. We are looking for a potential failure that represents a risk. So for this example, let us consider a failure in the schedule. We will not meet the expected delivery date. The major cause could be late delivery of a key item with dependencies. The secondary cause, could be available talent and perhaps late marketing or customer studies. We can set the entire fishbone diagram up per PMI's knowledge areas. This is a good mental exercise even if you are not exploring a particular project failure, as you will gain an appreciation for the interrelatedness of each of these areas and project success. Ultimately, we will populate our risk register with these items we deem are critical for success. We will go into that in much more detail later. It suffices to say that the list of the risks we uncover will then make it to our risk register for the next steps. In summary, we start by identifying those things that can go wrong. We will review project and product or service documentation and include many perspectives since one person does not have all the answers. Organizational process assets can help us with historical data to uncover what may hurt our cause. We will need to interview a variety of people, sponsors, stakeholders, and subject matter experts to understand some of what can go wrong. We can use brainstorming techniques such as Ishikawa to uncover the variety of possible failures for our project. We will need to record this list in our risk register for the next step in our risk management process. Contact Value Transformation personnel for additional training and coaching on the topic of project risk management and many other topics related to project management and product development. We can come to your facility or an off-site of your choosing. We are available also on the weekend. Thank you.